top as did. See how well they can do pressuring the Oracle. That's another place that they could potentially do really well here for the offlane. Oracle looks a little vulnerable here, especially if he gets jumped on. They have Orb of Venom already on Earth Spirit, so between Treants and right-clicking him, Ursa's not going to be able to do that much to stop this full level, so Miposhka's got to be...
See already Miposhka trying to sit far back, trying to get off a little bit of that harass, but definitely trying not to put himself in the position where sayuw is going to be able to put that harass. But, you know, we do see a little bit of harass coming out here, but yatoro immediately responding, being able to take advantage of the root coming out from Miposhka. 9 stacks already on the Storm Spirit. Oof, that feels bad.
It's fine. They're approximately 35%.
Thanks.
At least it does buy a little time for
those levels online for collapse over here, and just try to be as annoying as possible to Smiling Knight. I've been noticing like this trend with like the CIS games recently that, you know, the CIS I remember was that there was a lot of fighting super early on, and it feels like nowadays we're seeing just a much more passive sort of play style coming out. What's changed so much with this purge?
Just basically that teams and that you can't outskill your opponents all the time, kind of a thing, that people are used to that kind of aggression now. Like as time goes on, people more and more use different varied styles, so eventually it's going to distill down towards like more standard Dota where you play correctly, the right moves. And also just the skill level improves. As time goes on, the weaker players get rooted out. Why do you think I got kicked out of Zephyr, guys? So take out the bad players, add good ones. Those players are going to be more and more careful, and you have to keep upping your game.
Oh, poor Purge. It's okay, buddy.
You're supposed to laugh. Come on.
I don't know. Between you and BSJ recently, BSJ talking about parties that he's not invited to. You're talking about being washed up from Zephyr. I sit next to Kyle most of my days too. Like, I'm getting worn down. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm excited to watch, these other, younger players too. You've got TORONTOTOKYO here. Is definitely proving his worth recently.
So far, 10-3 versus slightly high. Well, he's just looking across the board. Profit last hits a little bit low, but it's probably been spending a lot more time right-clicking it.
Are we a little concerned with the fact that, yes, most of the CS is pretty even, take a look at it, but the Ursa is going to come online faster than this Wraith King. Are we at all concerned about that for the side of Empire?
I don't fully agree. In fact, if you look at his items, he's got a phase boots queued up into an armlet. That is the de facto early Wraith King fighting build. Like, sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of like Midas and Radiance builds because they do slow you down a little bit, even if it does guarantee you farm later in the game. If you go like a phase plus armlet build, your damage is really, really high early on, and then he's going to come online way before Ursa will. So Ursa can't fight for that long taking slaps from Wraith, especially if Wraith King kind of weaves in and out of the fight. That's why phase is so...
Is that too much of a gamble, though? Because I know in the past, like listening to Kyle, he really hates seeing stuff that's not necessarily going to scale as well as something like a Radiance on this Wraith King.
Well, that's the nice thing about the armlet build. The armlet's a stupidly cheap item. It only costs like, what, 2?
Have this big chonky boy down there. I like it. I like the fact that they're being very adaptive. They're, thinking about their long term. And we'll see if it pays off for them, because our panel did not seem like they were very sold on what Empire had drafted.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, there are some certain issues in their lineup that could be problematic, but right now the game is even, and Storm has been laning completely fine. He's winning his lane by a lot, actually, 28 versus 6. And this is something I don't know if the panelists anticipated, and as a result, like, we could have a very different game expected to see here, especially to see what Storm does with his potential rotation.
Any of those just quite yet. Of course, we are only sitting at level 5, and I'm sure with like the 5-minute runes coming up, we will start to see a little bit more action. That seems to be the signal for go time for a lot of these teams. Start to place themselves in the line of fire, trying to make sure they grab up bounty runes, and they've got a couple levels online too.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yep, it's a two-pronged thing. Want to decrease their opponent's net worth by stealing those bounties, but also find opportunities to take little surges that are a little bit more straightforward. So you know that your opponents are going to be there, so bring 2 heroes over. It's pretty... Storm is usually going to pull a lot, be a little bit passive, but depending on which runes he gets, I think those are maybe the bigger He gets arcane runes, regens, double damage. Basically any rune on Storm is insanely good. Use those to get some early
Dire's
kills
middle
on some
tower
supports
is under
or
attack.
an Ursa. I'm sure he'll go for it.
Yeah, I feel like the spirits just can't go wrong with any of those runes.
Stupendous!
Perhaps that's one of the reasons why I've been seeing so much of them being played currently in this patch too, you know? Perfectly
So I'm
into the
working-
role.
Storm's working on some stacks now this bit. Batrider is level 6
Dire's
though, so
middle
Batrider's still
tower
doing
is
quite
under
something. He's short of the net worth a little bit.
And the bottom lane collapse. Looks like he's gonna do some collapsing himself because EcNart will be able to get himself that first blood kill. Nice
Big
rotation.
one. Underlord just can't defend
Uh-oh.
himself. Ooh, dive.
Petushara? No, can't outrun that fire, my friend. It just eats up trees alive.
They just save Fortune's End basically to needed, and Batrider gets the kill without using Flaming Lasso. You guys forgot 120-second cooldown on this ability right now, so it's really long. But Batrider can certainly kill lots of heroes without needing. Great. Smoke coming bot though.
Make plays yet again, just making sure too that they can go and really secure Smiling Knight's farm as it's a little aggressive here. They don't have any. Seem like they know that anyone's here. Smoke does wear off though, of course. Having the Windranger, they'll be able to stun her up. Immediately try to run away. Collapse can only do so much. He's just gonna be able to start the Firestorm, but so bad will go down.
They're ready to fight down here. I mean, Wraith King has 3 points in Mortal Strike. This is really different. Most people will max out Vampiric Spirit relatively fast. You get more skeletons, and that accelerates your farm speed, but he wants to just do as much damage as possible in these skirmishes. That's why he's running forward again these slaps and wise bind, things like Armlet, so that he can affect this lane outcome, not just be a passive farm. It's just kind of what they need to do. If they keep killing their opponents like this, it's going to get them ahead and limit their options when they want to get aggressive. Stack done by Earth Spear here. Storm Spirit has a DD, by the way. He's queuing up Orchid as well, so they're on a pretty good path. He's got 20 last hits over the Batrider right now as Storm Spirit at 7 minutes. It's like really quick farming.
It seems really interesting too when you consider the fact that, you know, you've got this Wraith King in the bottom lane, but he's actually the one making more of the moves. He's getting more of the kills because they send down the Earth Spirit. Typically, I feel like you see that action over into the mid lane, right? Or that you'd be seeing, you know, your Storm Spirit kind of making these rotations, especially when he gets these particularly nice.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, but the difference maker is that they've been focusing a lot on stacking to accelerate his Orchid timing, and because of that, Storm's jungling, and therefore isn't available to get those.
Over here now.
Well, you know, we're talking about it, but he does make his own rotation up to the top lane. They don't have anything to go and cancel it out, so even though Gwynbleidd has himself that nice double damage rune, it's just not enough damage. Ursa's going to be able to keep away. But this is time that he's not in lane, he's not hitting creeps. Pretty happy with that.
Not all terrible, of course.
Runs it, but is forced to pick it up. Miposhka making his own rotation. TORONTOTOKYO
Dire's structures are fortified.
trying to go over there. It's not quite fast enough just yet, so he's gonna allow so bad to just get a little plink off. But you're a little sad you lost that, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, I feel a little bit of pressure now. DD that came top and didn't successfully kill the Ursa also transitions into a really easy tower kill with help from the Nature Prophet. So the pressure that Team Empire's putting out is looking really strong right now. And on the Team Spirit side, they're buying some time and they're slowly getting the boots of travel on Batrider, but they're not really getting that many kills, and their networks are starting to lag behind just a little bit.
Would you like to see TORONTOTOKYO just... all right, we've got some really nice stacks over here on the side. Coming out, top lane, yatoro. He needs help, he needs a friend, and his friend is just a little bit too late. So bad. Showing up, but not being able to save him here.
What a huge kill there by Storm Spirit. Ursa's Enrage was 1 second away from being off cooldown at the moment he died. Very close to surviving there. And just reminding everybody that Storm does a huge amount of damage, especially when he's level 9 here. Prophet ulti also came very clutch to help. So massive kill there on the Empire side. I'm sure the analysts are really happy they didn't make any bets on the panel right now.
No, they're not Kyle. They wouldn't do that to themselves. But yeah, you know, that Nature's Prophet, he is a fantastic hero. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of him recently, just because of the fact he does have this global presence. His ultimate Wrath of Nature just does so much damage early on. It just seems like a great choice here and really puts pressure on the map. You know, they talked a lot about the mobility coming out on the side of Team Spirit, right? The fact that you do have, you know, a Batrider. You've got this Underlord who's going to be able to just rotate, bring the entire team along with him should they all decide they want to go. But you've also got this mobility coming out from the side of Empire, right? You've got the Earth Spirit who's going to be able to roll in. You've got a Storm Spirit who can just zip zap all the way over. And of course the Nature's Prophet. EcNart though down here, only level 5, doesn't have that egg just yet. Miposhka will make sure that they get the kill. Felt like Collapse wasn't 100% sure there for a second. But the courier goes down here, so.
Yeah, he'd used his dive on the Underlord in the loop, maybe to apply Fire Spirits, and as a result, the gank he gets, even though he saw them coming forward, they just walked up and they used a little bit of a mistake. I didn't see the context. Either way, he's got Tome of Knowledge ready to go, so he's got level 6. They can certainly fight here. I think the Armlet's coming in. Yep, Armlet finished now in Wraithing, and he's got Chip Vest, so he has a huge amount of damage that he can impact in fights. And I am pretty darn certain they're going to tower if they need. But right now, sitting smoked in the mid lane with Storm as well as Earth Spirit, they don't end up finding a hero, so they're just going to lane normally. But at any moment, they can group up and take fights. Probably have a good shot at winning it.
Well, there is the pressure being placed down here by Collapse. They're doing the best he can to just try to push them off of the tower, but there is a Cardi here, of course. I do like this build, though, that we're seeing coming out from the Wraith King. It's a lot different from you know, some of the Wraith Kings that we've seen in the region that tend to be more of the, I don't want to say passive, but, you know, more farm-orientated, that they're going to, you know, just accelerate further later on into the game, thanks to that itemization.
Yeah, it's just, it has ups and downs, so I think it can be very effective. Like, imagine him fighting Ursa right now. He can walk in, get a slap, disengage, wait till ulti comes out, then go back in and commit. And he's got so much more estimated hit points of the HP and the armor. Getting into a skirmish or an early fight is absolutely a good thing for Wraithing, and he does queue up Radiance next. It's got only 700 gold into it, but for now, he's super ready to fight. But we'll see a little bit slow until Stormshare finishes his Orchid, and they'll probably see
Radiant are scanning.
Close.
I would really like to see TORONTOTOKYO get a little bit more active here. What do you think?
He could try, I suppose, but again, their opponents have really, really strong team fight. There's no way Ursa's going to want to take an engagement. He doesn't have Battle Fear yet. In fact, he's only got a Claymore right now, so far behind where he would like to be. So yeah, maybe they're going to push her down here, but unless they can get a really good engagement, it's hard. Like, their team fight is relatively weak, and this is one of the issues with Windranger as a hero, and why her win rate doesn't always feel that strong.
Well, look, the teleports are coming out immediately. EcNart going to try to run away. Uses the egg. They don't have an egg hitter here. TORONTOTOKYO is forced to run away, and we can see Petushara making his way over. He wants to get the kill on TORONTOTOKYO, and they're going to be able to find it, because what can hopefully do? That is a 5-man rotation down to the bot lane. So I guess if you're the side of you're happy that, you know, you got some space in that mid lane, but that was a lot just for that tier 1 because they could.
Yeah, and now they're going to commit only a couple heroes here to pushing the tower. Storm's going to go back and hit neutrals. This becomes too hard to push. Usually this tower is really hard to go offensive on in the early lanes. Spirit's going to defend it, but ultimately that was just great. The pop ulti right away on the Phoenix. How are their opponents supposed to do anything? If they lasso Phoenix and kill him at the start of the fight, maybe it's very different, but Storm was ready to rotate over. Prophet TP'd as well. Like, it's just really hard for Team Spirit to force these semi-normal fights here until they get a couple more.
It's going to get even harder now that Team Spirit has just picked up that Orchid, so they have to be very, very careful, especially you know, this Oracle, right? He is just always going to have a target on his back in a lot of these fights because of the fact that he has this, you know, the save. He is the save. He is the ability to, you know, heal up his teammates and just turn everything around. So he's going to be very nervous.
Everybody's vulnerable. The maybe most survivable is Bat with his Hooded Defiance right now, and Windranger could use Wind Run if she sees it in time and maybe survive, or Ursa could use, but a lot of these heroes are really well. So let's see where Storm goes after he's healing here. Bloodstone Neck, very standard. He's just going to walk out, it looks like, because they're basically trying to, if he TP's out right now to get to a lane faster, then he can't react to what happens later on. Because they still have this tier 1 bottom, they want to make sure that they're available for that. But Ursa's going to TP the mid lane. He's with Storm, and now they're going to...
All right, Spirit Brothers making their way downtown, hoping that maybe they can grab someone hanging up. Themselves in that lane, so pretty safe over here to the side. They've got some nice vision too. Keep in mind of that ward over
Radiant's
Ice
bottom
Bot trying
tower
to
is
see,
under
but he's
attack.
farming up, but they've been pretty spread out over on the side of
Radiant
Spirits. Most of them
structures
over
are
in their own
fortified.
triangle. The Underlord is the big boy, so he's going to be show himself in the lane, but the rest of the team, Miposhka, so bad. All right,
Every
no.
coin helps.
They decide that
Radiant's
they're not going to go for that,
bottom tower is under
that
attack.
bounty rune.
A little
Yeah.
dangerous.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, they're getting more farm on them. Their opponents are doing tri-camp, I suppose, but still no Battle Fury finish for Ursa. He still needs about 300 gold to go. And it's really not that late in the game. We're only 15 minutes. Maybe Papa gets initiated on top of it.
Oh, you have to be careful, though, because there's a lot of people making their way over. They're going to be able to do it in time is the question, though. Looks like he's going to be able to see no power shot comes through. Does it end up from the storm start immediately, like we talked about? Miposhka is just taken out. The egg pops off on the side. Not really too
Dire's
many
middle
heroes, though, that are going to
tower
get
is
stunned
under
by it, because they are a bit away. So bad having to be a bit careful, though, as Empire is sweeping through the side of the jungle and trying to ensure that this power belongs to them. You still have collapse, though, trying to hide the tree line. More teleports coming out. It's going to be TORONTOTOKYO coming back in. The silence, though, is causing a lot of problems. Plus, he's tanky, but that sunray with percentage-based damage is just too much. Now is TORONTOTOKYO. He's just kind of being left alone as the storm teleports out. EcNart does eventually fall here. Smiling Knight, he still has reincarnation, so he's going to take a bit of a bath here. And this Firefly, and he's going to be able to just toggle a bit, but he's coming right back up again. Yatoro is here. They need to see if they can get a shackle off. It doesn't quite latch. They just don't have the damage here, as now they'll turn their attention over to the Earth Spirit. Looks like he's going to be the one who gives up his life to protect his core.
So they do force a bit of a weird
Dire
engagement,
are
but it
scanning.
sort of works out. I mean, they killed the Oracle, but the initial Prophet dying wasn't great either.
Oh, gwynbleidd, he's so happy he got himself a double damage rune, and he gets himself a little bit something extra in the core of TORONTOTOKYO.
Feels really good. Now we're just about even right here, but the pressure has been being exerted pretty well by Empire. I really like that after Storm used all of his mana, he instantly did like a ball TP. He read where that team fight was going a little bit earlier and got out and made sure that he didn't also die. If he dies in that fight, game feels completely... He's not there to get the DD, he doesn't get kill on the Batrider. Maybe he'll try an Ursa,
Radiant
but
are
Oracle's in position.
scanning.
Yeah,
Scans.
really nicely set up behind. Ward spots out, you know, back up here. It's there.
Well, I think they scanned to see if Oracle was nearby. So they scanned to see, is Oracle nearby? He is? Okay, not worth going on. Underlord top, almost got a Yule's about 400 gold away. That'll help protect. This ward is doing a lot of work.
A lot of TPs coming out here. Collapse making his way forward. Goes, drops down that pit, and they have the lasso. So it's looking like a very dead storm. Something that they kind of desperately needed at this point.
Really well done. They might lose their Observer Order with it, but imagine how different this could be if they had that dewarded. Storm doesn't die, he gets to stand the map pressuring, but now it's time for Team Spirit to go across the map. Battle Fury is finished on Ursa. They don't have to worry about Storm for 30 seconds, and now they get to take a tier 1 tower.
Radiant's
and the
middle tower
control is
is under
kind of
attack.
lost here.
Is the most important tower for both
Radiant's
teams.
middle tower is fallen.
Oh. Hang on, we'll be able to get the root off, but dude, roll on out. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him. They don't have a blink on the Batrider, I don't believe, so. Yeah, they just have the boots to travel.
I think his itemization, and he definitely needed, but a lot of Batriders are going like BOTs into BKB right now, but the hood is going to help a huge amount. First Spirit. I don't blame him for. So lose tier 1, not the end of the world for them. Pretty much dead even here. Mana. Stay alive in the.
I mean, Storm Spirit's one of those heroes, too, that kind of sit on the edge of a knife, right? The idea that, you know, you're doing so well, but if you have, like, 1 or 2 deaths, you really just lose your momentum.
It matters a lot, for sure.
He's having the time of his life for now. Die once. Not the end of the world, but he has to be careful that he doesn't get over aggressive, that he doesn't get picked off. He is really that tempo control. Even though you do have Smiling Knight, right? He's built himself into this core that can fight early, but I'm sure he would be much happier if just, you know, sit back a little bit more. Does have the Radiance.
Radiant's bottom
And
tower
Quicksilver
is
Amulet,
under
really
attack.
good item here on Wraith. 30 attack speed, 10% after he casts a spell, so pretty much always on cooldown from Vampire Spirit. Might even get this courier. Looking for
Dire's
it.
Yeah.
courier has been killed.
turned on the armorlet just in
Dire's
case it
middle
wasn't enough
tower is
damage.
under attack.
I think it was. Like
He
was
means
gonna get it
business
in.
purge.
Turns off radiance. Doesn't want them to know. But oh, this is perfect.
Oh.
positioning.
Great Fire Blast opening up. Yatoro, though, chasing after Smiling Knight. There's a little bit of a skirmish going on over there on the side as TORONTOTOKYO is hunting for the Storm Spirit. Smiling Knight, he took a lot of damage. The Oracle ultimate, though, getting popped over on the back line. So we have to keep him alive. Smiling Knight trying to heal up over here on the side. TORONTOTOKYO collapse. They feel like they want to go in. They'll be able to go get their hands on the Phoenix that still has that egg up. So they have to be very careful. Silence is going to get thrown out over here. Once collapse, the big tanky boy is going to be enough. Egg being placed over to the side. It's a really nice placement, but they're just kind of wandering away from it. So they do finally manage to take down collapse. Are they going to be able to find anything else? Was that the reincarnation that just popped too? No, it wasn't. I heard something that. I'm not sure what that was.
Dire are scanning.
Egg sounds.
Could have been.
Sounded kinda-
Stupendous.
A lot going on in that fight.
So decent. Little confident initiation by the Wraith King, but he's able to end out his ulti. Therefore, he is still having to push on
Oh, they are
Got Yule.
indeed. There's no one here to save him. He's not tanky enough. Does have himself a Yules, but that's just going to buy him just a little bit of time.
Feels bad. Got the solution, but they just chain stun you too perfectly. He goes down. Now Smiling Knight instantly Roshan, queuing up a BKB, which is a great item. It's going to allow him easily to run down heroes like Windranger and Oracle.
This momentum just feels really good right now if you're Empire. You've got a Storm that's just fantastic. You've got a Wraith King who can fight early, who's also scaling well. He is definitely got to be smiling.
There's a Windranger with a Glimmer Cape.
Mortality
Literally a
is
shackle shot
mine.
and a power shot. This is why Windranger has win rate. You gotta like have advantage and set tempo and stuff, but if you're playing feels bad. Unless you get those shackles, who knows? Maybe he'll win this game.
All right, there, Slash. Calm down with your hatred on the Windranger, but this is not looking great. Oh, look at that Glimmer Cape. Nope, they have dust. They're good. They know what to do here. Storm zipping forward, looking for the opening. Shackle is coming in. You know what? Petushara says, I would love that kill. Thank you, guys.
He was like right next to her. He could have walked over. He's like, nah, I got this. The ulti down, keeps it creeps.
Efficiency purge. You know, what else is he going to do with that right now? Why not the final hit on a Windranger?
I really like the mech that Prophet
Dire's
picked up
bottom tower is
because
under
they
attack.
have a team fight advantage. Like adding a global heal for your whole team is so he's not gonna go crazy probably, but for armor his hero, 275 AoE heal, that's pretty sick. Definitely impacts some of these fights.
Oh, for sure. The way that they skirm.
Dire's bottom
Smoke,
tower
though,
is
coming
under
out.
attack.
Gonna make their way over into the side of the Dire jungle, it looks like. And they are grouped up over on the side of Team Spirit. They are trying to protect
Radiant
one
are
another,
scanning.
but yeah, look at the
Radiant's
Smiling
top
Knight just
tower is
leading the
under
charge.
attack.
Has his radiance turned off. Super sneaky Smiling Knight is ready to murder. But
Basically, by taking the tier 1 tower, it's normally common to walk into the enemy tri-camp at that point, so then cross to the other side of the map. But using the smoke there, they had a chance basically to catch any Team Spirit lingerers in their own jungle and grab any kill there. They weren't able to do that, and that smoke the opposite side of the map too, trying to do a similar motivation with BKB up on Earth. But nobody finds anybody, it's just going to be a little bit of damage. And in the meantime, Empire's just gotten a lot more.
I've been
have this control now as he comes forward and they'll be following up though with a really nice egg. The Storm comes out though, they'll hold him into place. They can't seem to finish off the Storm Spirit. This is Yatoro though, he's on the back line, he's got his eyes on the Petushara, and he doesn't have that BKB. That is going to be an Aegis. Going down though. They managed to put out enough damage on Storm. He's ready for round 2 though. Cannot seem to find this Windranger. The dust is going to come out though, so that Glimmer Cape not going to help them too much. Collapse, big tanky boy up front. The TPs are just coming out. They want to go home. Collapse is going to pop that ultimate. He's hoping that he can get away, be tanky enough so that way they can't kill him in time, and he is going to make it out.
That was really good for team. Aegis gets blown on. Storm Spirit there as he initiates. He really tried to force that one. He got some disables off, but
Dire's bottom tower is
not
under
able
attack.
to really.
Dire's structures are fortified.
They do have the shard for Nature's Prophet, so we gotta see the big boys right now. Maybe they'll be able to pressure towers a little bit easier, knowing that Lasso's down, but so looking fine for Empire, but they could definitely still lose it. Their fights aren't quite going
Dire's
as
bottom
clean as they
tower
want. They're
has
usually only
fallen.
getting like 1, maybe 2 kills, so it's just buying time for Team Spirit.
I like the pick of the dagger over on Miposhka. It's going to be very, very important for him to stay as far back as possible, but also still be able to get in there with that Oracle ulti. Allow him to position a bit better.
So much harder for...
Was going to cut through so many people then. Oh, another double damage. I feel like I've seen a lot of double damage today.
Smoke from Spirit, though. They might not get to this DD in time. That's going to be...
Snapped up, TORONTOTOKYO looking for this opening. Immediately he's going to get sent up by Smiling Knight. Sayuw, there's a lot of damage coming out the sun right now. Maybe Smiling Knight just a little bit longer, but he is actually going to fall. There's all three of the heroes all grouped up over here on the side. Yatoro, he's got the BKB though, and he looks like he just has to run. There's too much physical damage here. So are they going to be able to walk away? A little bit of the Phoenix damage coming out as here has the magnetize. It's going to be Petushara just teleporting in onto the back lines. They're still looking for this bear. They're not going to be able to find it, but it looks like they might be able to get TORONTOTOKYO because they don't have any other safe left. Over on the side though, Yatoro trying to man fight. He just cannot do it against Smiling Knight. He is going to fall. Collapse, hoping that they don't collapse on him, but the roll comes forward right into sayuw. And again, he is a big tanky boy, but look at the stage's profit. He's everywhere, all over this map. So again, they'll be able to hold the place. They've got the Sun Ray. Another Yule comes out trying to get rid of that silence, but it doesn't matter. And look at those giant treants. Sprout up out of his corpse.
Punched his friend right through the Underlord to kill him. Good, and now they're pushing two tier 2s at the same, losing almost nothing. Oh, they just couldn't quite lock down the Storm Spirit well enough. There was like 3 heroes that got grouped there and allowed the Storm to do a lot of damage, and just Spirit on the retreat path. It's hard for them to stop their opponents from running at them outside of using Shackle or like majorly killing somebody like Storm right at the start of the fight. And Wraith is going to do the same thing. He's just going to run at them. Now that he's got BKB, it's only rougher Spirit.
What have we here?
What moves do they have to do to stay in this game? Because we talked about the fact that the Wraith King did just pick up KB. Do they still hope that they can get some sort of a pick off? Because Smiling Knight is just becoming more and more difficult to deal with, obviously.
Yeah, getting a pick off is definitely what they obviously is never going to feel good. But Storm Spirit just finished Bloodstones. He's definitely very vulnerable to disable still. But disables, hit a Malice, between Lasso, between Shackle. There's a Blink Dagger on Windranger, so she can get more mobile here. But a lot of this comes, can they get into Windranger plus like 2 heroes to kill a hero like Storm? It can be really hard when all the map is constantly put off at anyone.
Oh, look at that, yes. There was an award over there, was it? There was one in the lane, I know, but maybe they just saw her walk over there, but that was like right on the money. Very lucky to get out of there.
BKB on profit now too.
I mean, we saw in the bottom lane that the Batrider, you know, TORONTOTOKYO, he looked at the Prophet. He was like, I have a double damage rune. We saw the Firefly get started, but they was like, I don't know where, you know, any second, there could just be Petushara just showing up, right? It's just too dangerous for him to try to go after these,
trying to regain their job to do it.
Yeah, there's it right past the Windranger. Again, that Windranger came though, followed up with the dust. We'll see if it's going to take down so bad. The Sunrise with so much work. They do manage to put the Storm into place, but they do manage to take him down this time. Sayuw chased after now. Yatoro doesn't feel like he wants to try to fight over here on the side. They will be able to take down the Wraith King one time. Gonna go right back up again. But
excellent fight. They got the target they wanted. Storm Spirit, the 4-1 is net worth. The survivability level is not in the best balance, and they get Lasso plus Ursa committing to him. And that's one place that Storm is a little bit weak, is like lots of single. He's got pretty good base armor. He's got sitting at 11 right now, but it's not enough to survive an Ursa. Grabbed, and now 3 items too.
Up here. Side of Spirit. Fired legs though, getting found by Smiling Knight. Those in the backpack for the time being.
There's like no defensive items on the Empire side. That's one. How do they stop Storm from dying there? I'm not really sure. They have like a halberd on Phoenix, but obviously it has to be pre-BKB. There's a mech on Prophet. That's like all I could see here. No Glimmer Cape. They just can't defend.
Teleports are coming out in mass here, Purge. Didn't have that dust on Smiling Knight though, so the Glimmer Cape We were, sassing a bit earlier on this Windranger. It worked there. We're talking about defensive items.
Good orbit destruct. Pretty darn, especially once you AC and the slow. 25% slow just built in here.
Are scanning.
See if they can get a catch though. Wraith King wants to go first. Storm wants to follow up once he can target somebody crucial.
All right, TORONTOTOKYO. Around the corner. Counters are up. With away. The pullback over on TORONTOTOKYO. Shackle comes through. Just managed to hold the Ursa in place. They do have the BKB.
Doesn't have Firefly.
So they're going to try to run out, and it's not looking great here for the Windranger. She is going to get sprouted up at the ball. TORONTOTOKYO. All right, buys a little bit more time thanks to collapse, but they jump right into the back line, so they need to take down this Oracle. Miposhka, is he actually going to be able to walk away from this? Yes, he even has a salve there thanks to that trusty shovel, finding some treasure earlier.
Huge heals from Batrider there. He threw Storm up in there. That would have definitely been a dead Oracle otherwise. So great damage control there. They lost the Phoenix somewhere else in the fight by the bounty ring. He died with Ursa. I missed that one. Okay.
That either, but they're ready for round 2, Purge. Look at them. Smoked up. Oh, that they definitely ready to skirmish. Still have a lasso up as well. Now I guess it's the question.
Radiant
Gigantic
are
tree
scanning.
ants just kind of, shuffle through the woods, but no
They
actual
gotta
heroes.
They gotta get the lanes pushed out. It's really important, especially the big trees. Big trees, creep waves, don't let them get that close to your base, because if you do lose a team fight, then they're just going to take a Rex instantly. They'll be so close to base, so got to keep these lanes pushed out. It'll give them more map control, give them more opportunities to late the game. But, Roche is also going down in the meantime. We'll see if they bot this. They see the tree ant. That might give them a little bit of a clue here, since it is scouting things out, but they got to be really careful about getting jumped on right now.
There's enough over on the side, and it is taking Smiling Knight a decent time. BKB, of course, is filled on TORONTOTOKYO. He's making his way over, throws down some of that sticky, they know. Rose had about half health, so it's like they just want to play it on the safer side. Underlord actually picking up the Eternal Shroud here, too. I kind of like that.
Oh, he got the shard, actually, so you can self-target Firestorm. He went Firestorm wave count. I've only seen bad players do this before, so I'm excited to see him do something good with it. He's got Ceremonial Rope as well, so lowers magic resistance to be able to deal damage to nearby enemies and also heal himself. So as long as he can stay in the fight, he can do tons of damage to heroes like Wraith King once BKBs are done, but I don't really see this being super useful until that point.
Well, maybe you'll learn something today too, Purge. Our panel learned a bunch.
I mean, there's a lot of magic damage, so the hood aspect of the Shroud is solid, but is this really the best item he could buy in this circumstance? I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be good.
Find out one way or the other. TORONTOTOKYO, though, does show himself in the bottom lane. Shove outs will be in. Get back in the pit.
This is the nicest thing about having a Prophet, is that if you do normally go over here to push out this lane, then you have the TP back to defend Roche.
Collapse, poking away. They need to get in there soon. Batrider's making his way over. Dumping down the damage. TORONTOTOKYO getting into position. He wants to see if he can try to get a snatch in here. We'll see Smiling Knight. Can't seem to finish off this Roche. Every time they get near the pit.
Yeah, it's low though. A little bit of time here, this thing dies, especially if they can manage.
Oh, nice silence. Petushara, zip forward, trying to jump in. It's going to be yatoro. Yatoro actually grabs it up. They get the kill on the Roche. And now they're going to have to man to get a good bash shot, but the egg outside the pit saves a little bit more time. So bad's going to go down. Gwynbleidd also falls. So bad buying back though. No buyback on the Storm Spirit. You are a happy bear right now. Petushara just has to teleport out with that BKB. TORONTOTOKYO, he's hungry. He'd like to grab himself a little bit more here. Not going to be able to do it, though, as they managed to not only get the kill on Roshan, but also get that Aegis up and running.
And even though, they killed Storm instantly, Storm still does not have a BKB this game. I'm very surprised about this, but he just hasn't been... There's probably a lot less farm on the map because Prophet's been ulting constantly and pushing out lanes. And this, delayed BKB thing is certainly something that's hurting him. I think he still dies there because he got lassoed or whatever, and Ursa was in the pit too, but it's got to be restricting his ability to initiate, because if he's just got BKB, I feel like Empire just runs at their opponents and takes the fight almost every time because they have stronger team fight. But with no BKB on Storm, he's super vulnerable to Underlord, to Shackle, to so many things. And so they tried to do this Coward's Way Roshan, where they just have Wraith King doing it, but their opponents just, in that split-second moment, fought better than they did, took the Roche, take the Aegis, and just swing back a fight. So they're still winning on the Empire side with 7k net worth, but now they have to fight into an Aegis Ursa, which is not going to be fun.
Man, that was a snide comment from you. The coward's roast. That is so harsh. My goodness.
I mean, it was like slightly safe, but like it's also bad because it took so long, and then they're not being creeps. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like Wraith King just could not sustain the lifesteal against Roche. She's taking a little bit too much damage.
Stupendous!
Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier, right? About the Storm Spirit and how if he has too many deaths underneath his belt, he kind of falls off. He's not a hero. How are we feeling right now about him?
I mean, the delayed BKB is the biggest issue just because it's limiting his ability to initiate. His net worth is still fine, and he's absolutely still going to be a valuable hero for the rest of the game. So he's got Orchid, he's got Bloodstone, he's got mana, he's got utility. Like, he's certainly useful, especially when he targets supports on the backline first. You know, Orchid at the right time, and you can kill one of these guys, absolutely. But it'll be fine. It's just his net worth is maybe not quite as high as I expected to be, based on how it's early.
I feel like this Nature's Croft has to play pretty scared right now, and that TORONTOTOKYO, that's going to be one of his #1 targets. Because every time that they try to go for a push or something, it feels like he's got, you know, these greater treants pushing it into different lanes. So if they grab a jump on the Nature's Prophet, it's super valuable. We do have the Abyssal Blade finished up well. So do you think we're going to see something a little bit more like they're going to group up on the side of Spirit, or?
I mean, yeah, they don't want to fight if they can.
Oh, that is still a very good pick. It is not the Nature's Prophet, but if you can take down the Storm Spirit, you're very, very happy right now. Do they have enough damage? It's a question that's not looking like they do. Oracle throwing out that save over onto the Windranger. TORONTOTOKYO is BKB. He just wants to run away. Collapse also deciding, all right, the rest of my team is gone. I want nothing to do with this. I will see you later. And they just disengage just like that. No kill on the Storm. But do you manage to just poke a little bit, and that's more space here again for yatoro.
The Windranger looking surprisingly hard to kill. He's done a really good job glimmering and blinking and getting out of danger when needed. Obviously, Oracle saved him with the ulti, but the Wraith King tried very hard to get those slaps, and he just couldn't. He had to wait 6 seconds, and then she just blinks away. So on the bright side, he does finish his AC, so his net worth is still very impressive, but he's sitting about equal to Ursa at this point. And Ursa's burst is certainly a lot more intimidating, especially with the heroes he's up against.
The items coming out. Telescope, of course, is always just very, very nice. Quartz Flicker also getting up. But yeah, you know, Smiling Knight, he has some very large chops coming out, but the slaps coming out from Ursa.
Location.
Yeah, Flicker's pretty solid, especially against things like Oracle, Sticky Napalm, against Pit of Malice. You can get out of those pretty quickly. I'm not quite sure who's going to pick it up. Storm's going to stick with the Stormcrafter for now. Thought maybe he would go for cooldown reduction. Picked up one of those as well, but maybe that'll go to someone else. Yeah, Spell Prism sitting there. Surely that's... I guess having a Yules for Storm is really important. Yeah, it's a free Yules. This is like the perfect case actually to get Stormcrafter. When you're dealing with roots, you don't have BKB. You're going to have those Trickster Cloaks for both teams, actually. Really good item in a lot of cases on tanky sort of heroes. They don't really have those type of heroes on Empire except for maybe Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit's actually going to be the one with getting the Spell Prism. That's got to feel good. Lots of mana regen, some solid stats. That beautiful cool.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yes, very good.
Radiant are scanning.
Well, they're making their push onto the top.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Use the Trickster.
Okay, well, I guess that, you know, gives them the chance to help kind of as well.
Yeah. I mean, the other neutral items at tier 4, none of them really do damage, so...
Right. Well, they already have gems, though, on both sides. I think the Batrider has... Yeah, TORONTOTOKYO has a gem, and they just picked up a gem over on the side of Empire. Yeah, there it is. So the Invis is not going to be that helpful as long as one of these guys is still alive with that item.
I agree, but the 20 evasion effective, not for free, but, you know, 20 evasion against Ursa is going to be really effective, and 20 magic resistance as the BKB runs up, which will be always by the, like, one of his 2 lives, he's not going to have BKB, so it's actually pretty useful. You can also use it to initiate, use it and look for a blink target or blink in, go invis, stun somebody, something like that. There's options here. And they're looking to force the fight now. Still no BKB on Storm. He's saving his buyback on it. Man, his net worth, I feel like, is just flat for 20 minutes.
He started off so well, too. A lot with him. Pop off, and he did pop off in the beginning, but it just is like, it just
Every
what a
coin
bit
helps.
flat here, yeah. All right, they know someone's there.
Yeah, he had the dome, I guess, so we saw him, but
Char realizing that he is very susceptible. The lockdown coming out from the side of Spear. Important that they try to do something, shackle or whatnot before they go in with lasso.
yeah, Prophet getting this farmed is definitely going to be the big difference maker as this game continues, because he's past Lincoln's, he's finished Bloodthorn now, so their ability to burst somebody down is going to be huge between himself, Storm Spirit, and Wraith King as right clickers. So, and he's not done here. It's going to keep going. So on the enemy side, it's just the Ursa. That's their only core. So if the game continues super late and the net worths are still about even, I feel like Empire should have a really good shot of crushing out team fights. The only big difference maker is maybe how hard it is going to be to kill Ursa. He's very farmed and he's got an Oracle to protect him. So keep on playing, I guess. Look for the right opportunities and get your net worth up. Don't get picked off as Prophet has. And eventually, maybe he can win this game first.
Phoenix actually going for the A on this.
Radiant's bottom tower
Possible in
is
these
under
fights, get off
attack.
the egg, and all. The fact that he is kind of important for putting that percentage-based damage over onto the big chonky boy that is the Underlord.
Yeah, they can help along.
Down each other's. Do you have the Satanic picked up for the Ursa now?
Radiant's middle tower is
Harder
under
to
attack.
take that as long as he can hit.
Invisibility.
They don't really have anything that restrict him from that. Walking straight up over to Cyclops is very not having this.
Damage.
Got the Yules. Is he going to be able to make it out time? Yes, he does. Nicely timed with that.
Yule's really paying off right there, but it's really been good all game against Orchid and things like that. Getting this fast Yules, I think, was quite solid for him. Especially now that he's got an armor item to put on top of it. Like, as long as he casts his ulti, he's good to go. That Orchid comes earlier and he has to use Yules to remove the Orchid, very different, but luckily for him, it was not Storm initiating the fight. And Storm's going Lincoln's now? He bought an Ultimate Orb after his Ogre Axe, so I guess he's just changing his mind, and he'd rather just have the ability to remove Lasso. Okay. Or Shackle, or whatever.
I mean,
or Abyssal.
It's working for the Nature's Prophet, right? Nature's Prophet does that. So, no, he has a BKB too. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Never mind.
I think it's just because the Ursa is a little bit too scary, honestly. Like, or because once you get Blink Dagger on Ursa, if they ever have vision, he just Blink Abyssals you instantly. It's really hard to react in time. So if you've got Lincolns, you actually have some counterplay there, and Lincolns also protects you from Lasso, which is the other thing primarily worried about, especially with Stormcrafter, since get out of dispel those roots. So I think it's actually a decent choice. Kind of weird. Certainly a weird game for him, but
Dire's
it
bottom
works
tower
out.
is under attack. Radiant's middle tower
We get
is under
a
attack.
Swift Blink on that Wraith King. Thoughts?
Yep.
You like it?
It's very popular. Yeah, it's the way to go for DPS carries.
Oh, this is a good pick off. That's
Finally got
Petushara.
it.
Yeah. Nice ward
They have a
over
Tinker
there.
ward. So finally does get picked off, but I feel like that's the first time we've seen him die split pushing all game. So the fact that it took this long, I think, was really, really good for Empire. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Swift Blink. Yeah, it's really solid on Wraith King. We got huge movement speed already, so getting the bonus with it. Very normal. Most hard carries by Swift Blink. Curse is also queuing on up.
I know we see it on things that are, the other Adjecary. Recall seeing it. Yeah, the Wraith King.
Wyvern, or Skeeter, sorry, did it the other day in that really long game where he got Giant String. He had one that game too. One very normal. Almost all carries by Swift Blink.
Radiant's courier.
Oh no,
has
that
been
courier.
killed.
Ooh. But
Just knew it was going to be there.
there it is. There's the Rosh is back up. You've got the Axe
Double
Blessing.
damage.
We're gonna see some fighting around that pit soon. Lincoln's is completed now for the Storm Spirit, so he's got a little bit more survivability now. He's having a little fun zipping around, clearing.
No buyback. So.
Confident. Night
Gotta be-
collapse, gonna wave at each other.
Finally,
Alright.
the Dire team gets to abuse Ursa. On Roshan.
Here we go. Double damage to the boot. All right, look at the positioning around the team. Smoked up. Smiling Knight Ursa is going to get in there. Yatoro manages to go and grab it. As the back lines of Miposhka will go down the lane, trying to find this opening. Egg goes off inside the pit. They're all on the outside. This is not looking great. Yatoro will go down. That is the Aegis burnt. As the rest of the team trying to find this opening, trying to get in there any way they can. Collapse will go down. This is not looking good for Yatoro. He's just been trying to like man fight his way through it. He is life stealing quite a bit. It's a good save that coming up from Miposhka. He manages to go get that heal off. So it looks like the Ursa, he may not have that Aegis of Immortality anymore, but he's got Miposhka, who's gonna have to be good enough and keeps him alive.
Not terrible for Team Spirit. It looked pretty scary there, but Ursa's able to grab the Egg Shard and grab the Aegis. They didn't get the last fight.
Oh, the lasso onto the back line. They've got their hands over here on the purpose. Yatoro chases after EcNart here. Can he get enough damage? He is disarmed though. On back lines, you have a whole other fight going down. It's no bad. Will fall. Yatoro just being kited though a bit here with Smiling Knight. They're trying to just get close enough. They're trying to get Yatoro into the bus. He can't do it fast enough. This collapse. He leaves behind the corpse of Yatoro.
Okay, they do win in the end. Did they need to go back in? In hindsight, no. They were very close to killing the Phoenix, then the Earth Spirit, but crucially that Halberd came out in time from Phoenix to buy him time. That's the downside to the re-engage. You don't have BKB to protect yourself from the Halberd, and if you don't use it, and if you use the Halberd pre-enrage, then boom, you spot yourself many, many seconds there to work down the Ursa.
When the heck did he pick that up?
What, the Halberd?
Yeah.
That was the first item he bought. He just hasn't had a chance to use it like all game because every fight has been like cores jumping in, popping BKB.
Right. Or he's forced to like egg up like fast.
Yep, exactly.
Right. Reputation came back in the end to be able to do something. But it is hard to push into this big boy here though.
It is, especially when he's got the lower cooldown, 8-second cooldown, and the wave count is 8. It's permanently up here. So this is really tough with all these melee heroes. They're gonna have to like convincingly crush fights to make going high ground easy. As long as they control ward vision on those little corner spots, they should be fine.
These haven't felt like clean fights though either. They've been skirmishing back and forth.
I'm getting a second wind.
60% of our fights have been in the Roche pit, I'm pretty sure in this.
Scanning.
They're gonna spot Wraith King with the scan though. See if they can go on him.
They're thinking that he wants to make his way over to the teleport. Here is nearby. Forward, they'll be able to protect the Wraith King. They'll be able to disengage on the side of Spirit.
Where's the party?
Forward coming out from Storm. He's gonna be really careful because there's that right over here, but of course does have that Lincoln, so not to jump on. Oh, they do have a Yules now.
Yeah, Batrider
Right.
could have gone on him, but they would have needed somebody else. He's got Octarine as well, so pretty easy for him to get the lasso off. The cast range is looking decent. 300, so Storm does have to be careful. Does he buy his BKB yet? No, he's still saving for a buyback. But he's got the money if he really wanted it. One other thing that's kind of hurting Empire right now is that Wraith King does not have Shrew Strike, so all these like evasion items and things like that are causing him hazards, Windranger, that kind of thing.
Illusion.
Of the wood. I'm hoping maybe they can grab Petushara, but he's already hightailing it out of here. Then every time he shows up on the mountain, they're trying to hunt for him.
They missed the one observer ward that they rolled just past, but this gem was really needed. I feel like the Team Spirit is just outvisioning them a little bit almost all game. Oh.
Lasso, drag back over here. That is a very dead Earth Spirit, so a little bit of a pick off for the side of Spirit.
So more than a little bit. That's a huge kill. The fact, like, it feels like Empire has been outmaneuvered by Vision almost the entire game. There's been a couple crucial moments where them having Vision was a big deal, but you cannot go for that cliff spot without having your team there behind you. It's way too dangerous, and he ends up losing the gem. I'm not sure how out of stock it's going to be, but it's a big loss.
It's a lot of damage coming out from these greater trees. They actually just take the whole... guys?
That was so much damage, actually.
Oh
I didn't think it was going to be that much. Those aren't illusions. Those are real living creatures. That's full damage. Okay. Swift blink up for Ursa now. Got it on the way.
Chara is sure Swift pushing and whatnot. But yeah, Swift blink for Yatoro. Don't know. engagements are difficult to find like the perfect one, it feels. Just
They
for
are,
both
yeah.
teams, right?
Yep, it absolutely is. You're scared about choking, you know, especially when you're ahead a little bit, as Empire is. You don't want to make any major mistakes when you initiate. Vision control obviously means a lot. Right now, Empire has nothing on the map for vision. It's been pretty consistently dewarded by gems. Whereas Spirit has solutions. They've got their jungle protected. They have the entrance for so they got a cliff spot too. So they can definitely get more chances to grab kills than their opponent. It's a long time till Roche, but Empire's gonna wait, push out their lanes a little bit, and then look aggressive most likely. There is a gem up on Prophet, so it looks like that old gem was act old. I had to check the Team Spirit base. I was like, do you steal this with a smoke? Just can do that, I believe, right?
Yes.
Pop smoke, TP in their fountain.
Yep.
Take their goodies. Oh, we got
Not
the
their
2
goodies.
times. That's why it was so much damage. He had 2 times Treant HP and damage. So that's why those Treants did so much
Yeah.
more than before.
We talk about that Necrobook being a huge source of damage, but the greater treants too are nothing to sneeze at.
No boots on Prophet right now, but he's ready to react.
Side of Empire, hope. Stragglers. Not gonna find anyone home, but there is mid lane that they might be able to get the jump on. Batrider too, showing up over here on the side. They have the vision, zip forward. Toronto immediately goes around, uses that BKB in the whole first place. Does have his own fresh BKB. A Smiling Knight was looking for this opening, but the Lotus Orb immediately helps him to disengage.
See, all I can say is, that's it. I
Thanks,
thought
Purge. That's a
the ball lightning was really not good there, and then his opponent was like, see ya. And he just walked away. So no fight.
bottom lane though. Bloodthorn is up. I don't think TORONTOTOKYO was expecting that. Yatoro though, waking over, making his way. Can he go and get these hits off? Yes, they can. But the follow-up coming out of Smiling Knight plus the ball lighting that one was pretty good for the video. The BKB that shot will fall. Smiling Knight now trying to run for his life over here. Gwynbleidd, he's trying to just run away, just ball out. Over on the side though, the Windranger is gonna get slowed down. The egg over on the back lines will be able to go off. They don't have the detection though, and eventually they will be able to just zip forward as the rest of the side of Spirit has decided that is more than enough and just disengage.
Okay, they didn't lose the gem though. I was worried about them for that. I mean, they buy back Prophet in that engagement, but they only kill a Windranger. Everybody on Team Spirit was super quick to react to that. Did they use? They must use Dark Rift. It looks like it was used about 40 seconds. Maybe not. I didn't see how they all got there so fast. But boy, did they react! I think one of the things that really hurting right, the lack of MKB. Honestly, no, he doesn't have MKB and he doesn't have Abyssal. So it's like his opportunities to like lock people down in the first couple of moments or do something really good in the first couple of moments is just not there. But this is smart. He's going Spider Legs now. He's going to sell his phase boots, and now he's going to have an item slot without having to give up his armlet, which is pretty important to keep him survivable against the Ursa. So. Spider Legs Basher. Basher definitely better than the Trickster Cloak. So I like this idea.
All right, well, just had a Lincoln's picked up with the Batrider now because he realizes that if he shows up, it's just crazy, right? It's a back and forth game of cat and mouse. Who gets to jump on who? Because, you know, this Nature's Prophet is absolutely terrifying when you look at his items. He's got Bloodthorn, he's got the Sheep Stick, and then on the flip side of it, you know, you look at what TORONTOTOKYO's got packing as well. He's got just the lasso is just very, very scary, plus the fact that he can pop all those Lincoln, the Yules.
The problem though is that Prophet's damage is really high, but it's not instinct. He's got a lot of utility items. BKB, Mech, Lincolns, these are all super defensive. Force staff now. Can they get spelled?
Oh, no, BKB. BKB charge. We should be down to like 5 seconds on that point. Yeah,
he is down to 5, so not that important. Like, they buy themselves 20 seconds or something like that, but really, we're just waiting for Roche to come up, and that's what's really going to force these teams to have to engage. Actually.
Well, the Storm obviously is going to have time on. He picked that up very late as we kept harping.
They swap back.
Zip forward, that's very, very far forward, but they managed to find Plus Lotus. It's not going to be enough to keep him alive. TORONTOTOKYO will go down. Collapse immediately says, we got to get out of here. Look at all the damage coming out of Miposhka. We'll be able to keep the Windranger alive a little bit longer. Does have the blink. So both of them will be able to disengage. And the disengage on the side of Spirit is so good.
She ends up staying alive. A little scary looking, but able to do it. Once again, like, evasion feels like the bane of Team Empire this game. They were able to kill the Batrider there with that great move. The BKB got forced, they took that window and they forced the right and they were able to catch him.
Oh, look how fast it goes down. Empire's gonna
That was a
go
fast
fast.
rush. That was like insanely fast rush respawn actually. Alright, who gets the shard? Very curious.
Where is it? Where is it?
Spirit. Okay.
Okay.
Gave it to Storm.
Immortality
A little bit more
is
locked down,
mine.
always nice. I'm not sure if he wants to be in the middle of everybody though.
Alright, they're thinking about it. Definitely better than a mech. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So now with AoE, Electro Vortex is actually insanely good for Storm because now it's not a targeted ability. Now it just stuns through Lincoln Sphere. So this is actually amazing for Storm's ability to catch Batrider or anybody else that might have Lincoln Sphere in these fights. Definitely. There are. It is a good item, I'm sorry to say, guys. Just gotta buy it sometimes.
You do.
Otherwise, the game just becomes not fun. They go on you and you just die every time.
And this is a game where you've got all sorts of amazing spells and fun things to do. You don't want to just die.
Dire's bottom tower.
Sit there watching friends have fun because you didn't buy a BKB. Yatoro. Be able to teleport out. Looks like they're not going to hard commit here.
I mean, they tried. They couldn't find him. He blinks to the top. They thought he went bot. No catch. Deal 8,000 gold on Storm Spirit. Good for him. He's going Hex next. They just need more disable, basically. They realize that catch is an issue.
Storm Force, double damage.
Regain their jungle just a little bit. Sitting here to hopefully catch somebody that comes to D-ward like usual.
Very close to the Abyssal Blade now.
Yeah.
Vanguard, is that the whole thing actually coming out? No? Ta-da!
Yep.
There it
And
is.
he's got Moon Shard, so he's pretty darn farmed. And we got tier 5 items shortly also. I can't believe we're at 56 minutes already, but we are.
Good items coming out here. What do you want to see?
I would watch another Giant's Fang raid.
Bottom lane jumping forward though. They pop the Lincolns. They'll be able to go and hold Petushara into place. They've had enough of this stuff. They even know when they use the lasso because they just are so sick of these treants just showing up and hitting their legs.
No buyback there, but because Roche is already dead, not the biggest deal for Empire. They're just gonna dodge lanes for a bit.
They're gonna be able to
Push out
dodge them
creep
because they're
waves.
just chasing. Like they really want to take advantage of this momentum. Look at this, Yatoro. He's going to be able to pop it. Yeah, there it is. He's able to pop the Lincolns and just needs a little bit more damage. But look at the storm. He's able to zip away, and they just don't have enough catch. So gwynbleidd gonna be able to survive this initial jump.
Very scary. Had to use his Bloodthorn that Ursa just has. He also sold his boots using spider legs here. Not quite enough damage to get close though. I don't think there's anything he could do to maximize that except for not use Swift Blink earlier, but he probably needed to use it like that. So if he has Swift Blink when he goes in, he probably gets that kill. But
Radiant
map
are
control looking
scanning.
fine. They still have 70 seconds. Still good opportunities for them to get a fight. But if anybody on Empire lets them get picked, that's Smiling Light. Knight happy to hit creeps. Because obviously much harder to go in.
All right, Miposhka absolutely obliterated there.
Foresight couldn't take
Is that vision from?
No, but there's going to be a buyback as the skirmish is going on over on the side. TORONTOTOKYO trying to find this opening, and it is going to be BKB coming out here from
Ursa's in
Ursa.
trouble.
Over on the side, though. Yeah, it's not looking great here. He's going to try to fight. Yes, he's going to be able to go. Takes down the first Aegis. There's a swoop coming out from the Phoenix with the Sunbreak. Can they burn down Yatoro? Yes, they'll be able to take down the Bear. Because there's a whole other fight going on over here on the side. They're just not together at all. The sword being thrown out. They'll get the drag back up on the side to be able to take down the Earth Spirit. But then in comes Gwynbleidd. Okay, good save here coming out from Miposhka. We'll be able to keep the Windranger alive just a little bit longer. But the rest of the team, they're Delta splitting. They don't want to take this fight. They don't have Yatoro, and he has the main source of physical damage coming out from the team. So bad, has the Glimmer Cape, should be able to run away. So Blink is back up on the Wraith King. He really wants this, but no, at the last second. Oh, the spider legs. He jumps right back in again. Oh, yes, the Lotus able to go buy a little bit more time. The sense is just getting reflected right back in again. This is still a very dead Windranger. Very nice.
Under attack.
I'm so glad he's queuing up Rapier because this man needs True Strike so badly. Like, oh man, the wind run is just giving him, buying him so much time. Great uses of ulti by Miposhka as well, but The fight turned really crucially there when they got the disable on the Ursa. It was basically Hex with lots of right-click damage. They got him down to 15, 10% HP, and at that point he just has to run. I mean, he was able to kill the Storm Aegis, but they were able to finish him off as he runs for the hills, and that was just made the fight really straightforward, as long as the rest of the fight didn't go too bad, and it didn't.
It was just so split the entire time, though. You know, we had like the two different cameras going on. And you're like, okay, what is happening? EcNart needs to be careful. TORONTOTOKYO has his eyes on a little burb here. Bullying, though, jumping in. Uses the hack. That looks just going to take both the hacks here. Both of them are two little piggies and they're not making it home. Not this time. The zip forward here. Collapse pops his own BKB. They're just gonna have to watch this very massive dinosaur in armor walk away from them.
Yep, now they lose their vision. This is the part, ooh, there it is, tier 5 items. Minus 10 armor, that's pretty good with the rapier.
Oh,
you know,
babe.
I don't know what just happened. Racing feels like he got a lot stronger in the last 5 seconds. Anyone else noticing this?
The seeds of fortune.
Damage is a little high.
How many hits is it gonna take to kill Oracle?
1. Definitely 1 at this. Without it, how much armor does Oracle have? He's got 8 armor, so let's just do the math really quick. After minus 12, yeah, he's gonna have -4 armor. That's like a 20% damage increase. Plus he crits for 260. Yeah, that's a one-shot right now. Oracle's got to be so careful.
Machina picked up as well. What do we have? Do we have all of the tier 5s now? Have they found them all?
Oh no,
No,
I
we
think
still
they're
got a
just
couple left.
beginning.
The dead is also a very
Okay. The ultimate rad item.
Zip it around. The Hex comes out over on the Ursa. He needs help and he needs this fast. They'll go and they'll use the Oracle ulti, but Smiling Knight sees an opening. Wants to try to take down his Underlord. He's taking a lot of damage here, but it's not quite enough to take him down as he is popping his own BKB. Smiling Knight and of course Earth Spirit popping their own. That engagement is over as soon as it started.
A little surprised Wraithing went in, but it worked out, I guess. Get their opponents to react a little. What's really important actually is they keep their opponents out of the jungle right now. 4th neutral item now, the 4th tier 5. The Dire Creep doesn't have any. Fallen Sky. It's just a raw item now, right?
Strength 20 int 15. Of course, the meteor strike down.
Yeah, good way to initiate. A nice stun. A second blink for Ursa Spirit, a little unnecessary, but certainly better on him than other heroes.
I'm trying to think who else they can pop. Best choice.
Yeah. I do like that Prophet's also holding the Ex Machina though, because that's going to increase his survivability against Ursa massively, because he's definitely a big target for Ursa. So being able to jump into fight, get 25 armor, which is insane, and then double his like active items, which is all amazing stuff. Like it'll be really good.
So that is starting to get the items for doing some damage here. Doesn't be careful though. It moked up. It's like she's just a little bit too fast for them to get hands on. Doesn't. Although they're lingering in the area, they use scan. Makes space. Yatoro needs to be careful. The dump board immediately. Look at this damage curve. She just gets evaporated. What was that? Like 3 hits taken. Me peasant. Oh my word.
Yeah, he died really quick there. The mobility of Ursa is actually insane. He's got 2 Blink Daggers and Rolling Boulder. That plus Storm plus Nature's Prophet. Anybody gets out of position, it's over.
Look at this army.
You gotta be so careful.
Look at this army in the top lane. You've got Greater Treants. You've got Book of the Dead. Level 2.
They have the one counter though. Firestorm 8 waves.
That's true.
Good luck pushing. Oh no, it's up again. It's about to get so much gold.
Alright, he's gonna buy everybody a Moon Shard now at this point. Gonna be just...
Oh, he's getting a Wind Waker. I think I haven't actually seen anybody buy Wind Waker in a pro game yet. This is the first I'm gonna see. It's a pretty good game for it.
Has fallen to the Wraith.
Who gets the shard? Wraith King? I guess. That is right.
Immortality is mine.
So I guess you could like TP back home with Divine Rapier, that kind of stuff. That fun thing. They got any tier 5 items yet? Oh,
they have the Mirror
got a
Shield.
Ballista. Mirror Shield, Ballista.
Is under attack.
That's it so far. That's why he's jungling enemy side of the map.
Gotta get some. They're at a huge disadvantage without having the other 5s. A huge disadvantage right now anyways, right?
Yep. Ballista's actually really sick on Wind.
Got it, but still feels like very much an uphill battle for Team. 29k ahead on Fire. Look at this. Where's our Underlord? Hello? You need to clean up here.
Dire's structures are
3 waves is hard.
Come on, dude.
You can only do so much.
Excuses.
They're being so gentle on the top lane. They really don't want to throw this game. Got good control, but are not committing to these buildings because they know that Ursa finds the right grabs in the back line. Go real
More
bad.
tier 5. Look at so bad. He's trying so hard. Like, okay. Oh, look at that. The Nature's Prophet just went bottom too. Careful.
So bad's just jungling.
Careful.
He does.
Shara seems like he's like, these camps are empty. Under hook.
Underlord, can he get the courier? It lives. Is he gonna commit to it? It's a Wind Waker now. Good.
Bounty.
Shara. Okay. All right. He just decides that it's not worth the.
He didn't know. I don't think Aver saw him.
He saw the Fallen Sky. Okay, there we go. Another item. Windraker's now picked up. No, he definitely saw that the camps are empty. Like he kept walking forward and being
Yeah,
like,
but like, yeah, but you don't
courier,
know.
courier?
They got
Radiant's
cleared.
courier has been
Ooh, that is the Axe components. But oh my God, did you see how fast Blink showed up? So bad, just dips. Oh, I love it.
They've been looking for him for a while. Yeah. All right. So yeah, no Axe for Phoenix, but he didn't buy out or anything for that. He's just gonna delayed. Can save his allies they get gone on, so that gives them some really nice counterplay that they've been needing, certainly. It's like Wraith King is switching up an item. He's gonna go for a Silver Edge to give him better catch, I guess.
The seeds of fortune.
Maybe they'll swap Radiance out for it or something, because at this point Radiance is not that useful. It's a little damage, but doesn't do as much. Level 30 does get picked up for Ursa, that's okay. Got that monster Earth Shock now. Clear the creeps.
Huge
Dire's
AoE.
bottom
Oh my word.
barracks are under attack. Dire's bottom barracks.
Whatever they can get to get rid of all these creeps, right?
Yeah, they really do. I like the Fallen Sky on Ursa. Makes his initiation better, actually, because it basically guarantees a false scissors.
Bounce back, the drag in over here. This is not looking super great now for this Wraith King, although it does have a BKB, jumps right back up. Lotus Orb is going to be used. Oracle is taking that during all of this. There's going to be the immediate buybacks, though, coming out as well, as they're just holding him into place. Beautiful egg, though, coming out from EcNart. We'll be able to keep him alive a bit longer. And the rest of the team, they're just not sure how they get in there. They got such a nice setup where they're able to drag back on this Wraith King, but they just didn't have the damage. They weren't able to follow up. It's gets Petushara getting held into place here by Collapse. He'll use the refresh.
That was the Ex Machina, actually.
The Ex Machina. Oh, yes.
Did you hear the little Christmassy jingle in it when he used it?
No.
That was the difference.
Oh.
It was there. I heard it.
Can you sing it for me, Purge?
No, I can't. It was like little jingles.
I don't believe you because
Kinda
you
like
won't sing it
that.
for me.
Someone will find
Oh, the zip in. Oh, but maybe they could try to
I like
grab.
that. That was sick. Like he's just trying to get the BKBs or the.
TORONTOTOKYO. He's in. He's rooted. This place is hexed up. He's got the Lotus on it. The jump in, though, coming out from the Ursa. They're trying to shred their gwynbleidd. Are they going to be able to take down this storm fast enough? No, they're not going to be able to do the as well. And there's just so much damage being put over onto their building. Yatoro now forced to run away. Collapse doesn't know where to turn. They do manage to take down TORONTOTOKYO, and it's a good shackle over onto the side. They need to do a little bit more damage. The Ballista just knocking them back constantly, but the stun is coming out over here again from gwynbleidd. As they go, they purge him off. They turn right back around again. Can they take down the storm? But again, he has the Aegis purge. You need to kill him twice, and your buildings are just getting ripped apart while all of this is going on. That Windranger coming out, the drag back again over here on the side. Can they finish him? There's so much damage. All right, that's going to be one kill going down. There's going to be a buyback now from TORONTOTOKYO. He's already here. He's trying to find another opening. He doesn't have the...
Prophet's backdoor.
So again, a Prophet. Again, yeah, we talked about this. He's got no hole. Here, that's going to be... Yeah, look at this collapse comes out. He's like, my buildings, stay off of them.
Ship the range barracks. Yeah, 2 sets of barracks died in that crazy fight, which is basically just 10 heroes mashing their heads together. Everybody props BKB, and Wraith King is like, I don't care, I just hit people. And that's what he did. He slapped people. There was buybacks. They've got a 28k gold advantage now. These lanes are naturally pushing, making this game even harder to play against the Nature's Prophet. We are certainly into the late game right now.
Yes, we are. And, you know, I will say, though, this Windranger's starting to dish out some decent amount of damage. That when she went and she got the shackle off earlier, I think that made turn a little bit better for the side of Spirit. But you know, this Wraith King is a veritable raid boss. You got to kill him too many times. You have to kill the Storm Spirit like twice, and it's still so difficult. You
know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a Storm Spirit purchase his charge. It's like one of those heroes where like you never buy the shard, but he's got 9,000 gold. He's 4,000 over buyback.
You might as well.
Buy it. 40 attack speed increase. Hell yeah.
Oh, in the bottom lane, the Hex is up over on the Underlord, but the follow-up, TORONTOTOKYO, they drag back again over here onto the Scorcher. He no longer has that age of BKB, though. He's going to be able to go teleport out. Looks like they're not going to be able to quite grab him in time. So he's happy to just go right back home again.
He already bought it,
Look
actually.
at
It just
that.
got delivered. Yo, how do they even get killed? Everybody is so tanky, actually. Batrider's got 3,600 HP. Lincoln's Octarine Core, Mirror Shield. Like, this is so difficult. Underlord's got almost 4,000 HP. All these heroes are so difficult, actually. They, like, just need to engage while Wraith King slaps some supports, and then they eventually take Megas. Is Megas gonna end this game? No. But it will help it a little bit. And until buybacks come back, we're gonna see Empire cool their jets for sure.
Buckle up, Buttercup, because we've got quite a ways to go with the way that this game's going.
Actually, there's 3 dieback potentials on the Dire team. War versus just the Prophet. So maybe if they can take a good fight, hit those supports, they could close this game out. But for now, they're playing pretty safe.
Radiant are scanning.
Look at that. They can't afford to leave their bit. You gotta leave Underlord there like the entire time, because look at these greater treants.
Yep.
Yeah, look at the small sky. They cannot leave. That's the problem. They have to get a pick off on the Prophet at the very least.
These strong range creeps in the mid lane is gonna change everything, guys. Do like 60 damage instead of 41. Watch out.
Ooh-wee.
At least their melee barracks will regen.
Oh, look at that. They're hunting. It's already out of there. He's pretty fast. Not today. All right, who just picked up an axe?
Probably Phoenix. Doesn't everybody have one at this point?
Well,
First
it's another
gonna get one
save,
too.
as long as you don't play like No Tail and kill Thompson. I love that tweet. See, I don't know why everybody's talking about Thompson. Oh, okay, false guy, but the BKB immediately coming out from TORONTOTOKYO. He tries to run back. Needs to be careful those finally. Look at that damage coming out from him again. But they're just so hard to kill. Yatoro he loses his courier. Aeon just getting picked up. This game's never gonna end, Purge.
It's basically all about what Wraith King is the core thing for Empire, because he's the only guy that does a lot of damage. They have all these like hard to fight into team fight items, but like in terms of raw survivability, Batrider is not very high up. He's only got 16 armor here, almost 17 armor. Storm is not really the greatest solo killer. He's got damage, but he's not going to be able to just blast through these guys with crazy items. So it all comes down to where Smiling Knight is. Can he get these pickoffs? Because he's not going to be able to buy anything else at this point.
There's just so many defensive items on the Storm, like...
There are, yeah.
It's wild to think about. Tokyo showing himself on the wave, but no one a hard commit yet. Okay, alright, 3 hits and takedown so bad. No buyback on this Windranger. Just the forward though coming out from like the BKB. Jumping right on him. Miposhka just absolutely gets destroyed. Yatoro next to fall. This is a big tanky Underlord. They don't have much buyback here. It is going to be the Ursa though trying to get back in again. But he just gets absolutely slapped. Drag back over here from Toronto. They know they have to try to take someone down. They're hoping he's going to be Petushara, but the Aeon just keeps him alive a little bit longer as they jump over onto the back line. They've got a lot of damage over here onto the Scorcher. Can they finish him off? And Collapse is just too nervous. He goes, we got to leave. But they leave behind TORONTOTOKYO. Stuck in the tree line here. Immediately Lincoln gets popped. There's just too much. Down goes the Batrider. Buyback now. Coming out from gwynbleidd. They want to finish up this game.
Mid barracks falls as well, and he's gonna dive here almost. No, never mind, not diving in.
Alright, they try to go forward. Overboard immediately over onto Collapse. The bear though is just trapped in all of these trees and he cannot seem to move. Although the people don't turn back around and get into the game Purge. There's not a hope left now. Yeah, the GT gets called after 73 minutes. Team Empire will take this first game.
73 minutes. A finally convincing team fight that got lots of their opponents to buy back, and then Wraith King finally got some crucial pickoffs. Started realizing